Okay, so section P1 is going to go really fast. There's a lot of notes here. So pause the video as you need to so that you can take time to copy things down that I have pre-typed. So the standard form for quadratics, you may or may not even remember as being either of these. Most likely what your teacher taught you last year is the standard form looking like either y equals or x equals. What you have to remember is that h is always technically with x. Here I could move it over and it would say x minus h. And k is always technically with y. Here I could move it over and it would be y minus k. I usually just remember keep them in alphabetical order. X and y come first, or x comes first and then y, and h comes first and then k in alphabetical order. So remembering back, hk is your vertex, and a, so this number out in front, tells you a couple of things. Number one, if it's opening up or down. So if a is positive, it's opening up, and if a is negative, it's opening down. And then it also tells you the width. If the absolute value of a is greater than 1, it'll be skinny. And if the absolute value of a is less than 1, it'll be wide. So hopefully that's a good refresh on quadratics. Okay, moving on to lines. You have 3 forms for equations of lines. Standard form, useful when we were solving equations and wanted to use elimination method. Slope-intercept, very useful for graphing, because I can graph real quick by inspection using, of course, the y-intercept, and then m being the slope. But the one that's actually the most useful when writing equations is point-slope form. And it gets its name because I simply need a point and a slope. And most people try to, or they're just so used to slope-intercept from Algebra 1, but slope-intercept, yes, I need the slope, just like point-slope, but the problem is I need a specific point, that being the y-intercept. And on point-slope form, I can use any generic point. And of course, that generic point is the x1 and the y1 values. Okay, so moving on to slope. Of course, you probably remember slope is the change in y over the change in x. Delta, of course, meaning change. So we're going to write that in here. And it doesn't matter which ones come first. You might put the subscripts 1 first. Here it's shown with the 2's first. You just have to make sure you're consistent. So if you put the 2 first on top, then you have to put the 2 first on bottom. If you put the 1 first on top, then you'd have to put the 1 first on bottom. Parallel lines, you should remember, have the